This is a watermark. This is a watermark. This is a watermark.
Hello everyone. Welcome to another Akira live streaming, live development session. My name is Alessandro, whatever. You probably know me if you're hanging out in the chat. Thank you so much for joining at this time. As usual, if you have any questions, if you want to ask anything about Akira, about the development process, about what I do, or anything else coding related, coding and design related, feel free to ask in the chat. But also, as usual, because I like to engage with the people that are around in the chat, otherwise it's going to be a lonely live streaming, please let me know where you're from, where you're watching this video from, and what time is it in your country. Right now is 8 p.m., 8 in the evening in Vancouver, Canada. I already see a bunch of familiar faces. Hello, Draman. It's so good to see your avatar showing up. I think last time we spoke was or we chatted was many months ago. A lot of things have changed since that in my personal life and in my job and work life. So yeah, pretty nuts. We got Daniel from Melbourne, Australia. It's 1 p.m. Haha. Just having lunch, I guess. Brazil. Hello, Enrique. Welcome. So I'm pretty ready. You guys let me know how's my audio, how's the video, how's everything is going. So little disclaimer, Enrique is midnight in Brazil right now. You should be asleep anyway. Thank you for following my updates on Twitter, Draman. It's good to know that. it's nice. As usual, this could go absolutely wrong. This live streaming could turn into like a flaming dumpster fire because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to show you the current state of Akira. I'm just going to give you an overview of where we are, all the improvements that we did. A lot of things have changed in Akira. The basic, pretty much we rebuilt it from scratch. The architecture is entirely new. And it's extremely fast, snappy. There are a lot of extremely new features. I haven't had time. Well, not really. I have it at the time, but I haven't had the chance to release a new Flatpak version, to just release it again on Flatpak, because since we rebuilt the whole architecture, the saving and loading of files doesn't work anymore. I need to update that. After I finish that, I can release it as a Flatpak, so at least people can save their files. If I release it right now, you can just play with it a little bit. At least you can save a bunch of files on export things. I need to fix those things. But there are other extra features that I'm very excited to show you. But yeah, as I said, we're going to try to code together and finish a feature that I've been coding for a while and see how it goes, how I absolutely fail entirely brutally, but yeah, hopefully it's gonna be fun. Hello, Danny. Thank you so much, Danny. Yeah, the video is okay, but there's a weird guy in the middle of the screen. Yeah, I know. I've been trying to get rid of that guy for many, many years, but so fucking still sticks around. It never goes away. It's just so annoying. Anyway, I think I have everything. I got my pretty steaming hot tea. I got my chocolate things. Actually, I'm gonna grab one. I'm gonna immediately choke because it's a live streaming. So if I don't choke with a piece of food, it's not a proper live streaming. But yeah, I get the chocolate, so I get a little boost because I've been working all day. I'm extremely tired, but I wanted to do it, and I needed to postpone the one from last week, but I really wanted to do it. The chocolate's so good. Anyway, let's get started. You probably don't want to hear me munching on some chocolate, but it is what it is. You get what you get. I'm so professional. It's amazing. Okay. Probably you already know all of this, so I'm going to go pretty fast. Akira, you can go on github.com/AkiraUX/Akira, or just search for GitHub Akira on Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever search engine you use. We recently switched the branch from the master branch. This is going to get discontinued soon, to the main branch. The main branch is that branch that has all the most recent changes, the complete rebuilt architecture, all the snappy cool stuff, and modern GTK. We dropped GooCanvas because GooCanvas was absolutely trash. If you're interested in Akira, we have a pretty good description of how to set it up, how to test it, how to compile it. And since we did all the architectural rebuild, the list of dependencies is way, way shorter. You don't need to manually download and install and compile GooCanvas anymore. All of these things should be available out of the box in any Debian-based Linux distribution, but also I think in any other type of Linux distributions, like pretty standard things. So it should be fairly easy to get into that. Hello, Gonzalo. Good to see you as well. You can contribute to that. You can follow a guide on how to contribute. You like some generic questions that might ask. We have a matrix channel that you can join and ask questions, and we collaborate there through coding. We have some contribution guidelines, and of course we got some support. If you basically, I'm kind of currently the only one working on Akira because, of course, it's my pet project and I love it. So I use the money that I get from support, so from Patreon and other things, to justify taking some time off of work sometimes. I am the product design manager at Mozilla Thunderbird. So I work an average of 10 hours per day, every day. And sometimes I work also on the weekend. So whenever I need to, I'm very passionate about Akira, but I need to justify not working and doing Akira. So I use the money that I get from the Patreon to pretty much balance my income and say, okay, for this week, I'm going to take a couple of hours off from work. I'm not going to get paid, but I can dedicate those hours on Akira. And that's what I've been doing pretty much the whole year. So if you want to support, you can go to patreon.com/AkiraUX. You can decide by default is $1, 1.5 Canadian, which should be just $1. It's absolutely fine. Otherwise, if you don't trust Patreon, because you're right, Patreons can trash, we use LibraPay as well. You can donate there whatever amount you want. Or if you want to stay inside the GitHub ecosystem, you can sponsor me directly. It starts as well from $1 a month, and you can select whatever amount. Currently, there are no perks, no real advantages to that because I don't have time to go there. I used to just send t-shirts and stickers and things like that, but I don't do that anymore because it's a chore and I don't have time to do that. Hopefully, if this thing grows and gets more people in, I can actually offer proper support. But yeah, so this is the quick overview on how you can support Akira. But let's get into the gist of it. Let's get into the juicy part, into the coding part, right? Because that's the most exciting thing. So we got into the main branch and we can compile with our, actually, I need to go into build Ninja and launch Akira. It's gonna launch right away, and hopefully, yeah, it recognizes also, yeah, dark mode, because of course we're fancy. Okay, so you can see the UI is pretty similar, pretty identical. Not many things have changed. We did also a UI cleanup. We created a lot of like repeated components. We had some issues with the GTK list box, or the list row here. The default one was extremely heavy, to the point that if you needed to create 3 or 4, actually, no, let's say like 20, past like 20, 30 items, if you needed to create all together, like if you need to select them all or load a file with multiple items, it would just chug. It was like destroy your memory, get very, very heavy, because the way the GTK list box, especially the GTK3, GTK4 is another thing, but I'm not upgrading to GTK4 yet. I'm waiting for GTK4 to become a little bit more pretty much used across the board, and then I'm gonna upgrade. Right now it's still GTK3. The GTK3 basically renders every single layer, even those that are not visible in the viewport. They were rendered, which is insane. So I created a new, basically virtualized widget from scratch. And now I think if I hit G or J, I think I disabled those, but basically you can create as many items as you want. I can just duplicate. I'm duplicating, Control D is duplicating. Look at this. We got a million, how many layers, items? I'm still duplicating, and it doesn't slow down. It's still like, oh, we got a million different things. And look at this. Look how fast is this. It doesn't slow. I can select, if I click on an item, the list jumps. Look how it jumps directly. So if I select, I'm on these layer, you can see like if I hover, it shows me on the list which one I'm hovering, and vice versa. It shows me on the canvas which one I'm hovering. But if I select this is not in the list. It's not everywhere. So physically it doesn't exist. All these, the only physical layers that we have are these. Everything else up and down, like above and below, it's empty. We're just adding the space to simulate where those layers are, but those layers, they actually don't exist. So if I click here, basically the list, what it does, it checks the index of the item and sees where it should be. Oh, it's at this space. Okay, let's jump the list to the top and just generate those that you see. So we probably have, I don't know, like 300 or something items, and we're only exclusively handling like 20. So even if you have 10,000, it doesn't matter. It will generate them all together, and it's pretty awesome. We used to have a function, also the multi-selection. It's just so fast. It's just so snappy. Deletion, everything works so great. It's just so snappy. I'm so excited. We also started integrating some vector tools, so now you can create your vector things. We have some initial Bezier curve. It's still a bit buggy. It doesn't work very well. Like, it doesn't properly close. I mean, if you double click properly on the spot, it kind of closes it, but kind of doesn't. And you can see here, yeah, it's closed, but not really. We need to fix these things, but it's fine. But yeah, you can have your paths, you can edit them. We need to improve the anchor tools. Like, it's kind of like hard to select right now because the cursor should change when you go and roll over in your selection. If you just accidentally click outside, it just deselect everything, which is super annoying. But a path, you can double click and you can edit a path. And look at this, like the layer has a little path and recognize how many layers you add and keeps the counter up. So, and the whole path is selectable, so it's easier to select. We had a hit area, which is larger than the actual path, which is super duper good. You can also have, I think, yeah, we disabled fields. You cannot add the fields for the path for now, just because paths are not finished. We're still working on that. But yeah, we got our paths. You can, yeah, you can do also crazy shit. It's just so funny. Anyway, it's so cute. The other thing that we have are scalable, I think. Yeah, we did. So first of all, I think, yeah, I think we had something like that. But, oh, I think snaps, the snapping of things, we didn't have them anymore. Look at this. We got snaps. Everything recognizes the snap, and you can put like adjacent, you can put the corner, you can center to an item, you can center to an adjacent item as well on like a parent item. It's just so good, so good. Draman, yes, export as SVG. I think I disabled the export right now. So if I select this, I think it's gonna crash because oh yeah, it doesn't do any, it doesn't even open. Yeah, it's gonna export as SVG because all of this is just Cairo, and it can be exported into pure SVG. Pretty straightforward. So yeah, absolutely, it will export to SVG, but it doesn't actually, the speed improvement that we have here, that is just absolutely fantastic. Also, there's another thing, like if you zoom long enough, like enough, it just generates, it just shows the grid. So you can do pixel perfect alignment here, and you can snap things to the pixel grid, and or even not. Like it allows you to not snap things to the pixel grid, but we are gonna implement some force snapping if you want, but the movement is snapped to the pixel grid. So yeah, it's freaking fantastic. The speed things is because we're not doing SVGs here. We're not respecting the SVGs. We are just generating things through mathematical means, and we're not respecting the SVG specs in the canvas. This is not an SVG canvas. We're not doing SVGs. We're just like creating through math these vector things. And if you need an SVG, we're going to export the SVG. So we don't need to stick to the SVG standard. We can do extra things. We can do uneven border radiuses. We already have the code. I need to just expose it in the UI. We can do the border inside, outside, or center, the border stroke. We can do all sorts of stuff. And then when you export in SVG, basically, if they don't respect the SVG standard, we create another layer on top with like a stroke or a path that simulates whatever you need to simulate. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. One thing that I'm currently working on are groups, because now you can generate groups. So if we have multiple items and I want to group these two together, you can select it and press Control G, and it's gonna generate this group. You can open and expand it and contract it. But right now on main, the group is not selectable. There's no interaction point on the group, of course, because it's a foreign element for the canvas. But if you see, like if you go roll over on the items, on the layers, it actually hovers the element and you can actually select and move it around. And same thing for the group. It doesn't generate the hover effect, but you can click on the group on the layer and select it. So we need, what I'm currently working on is interaction points for groups, handle the group selection inside the canvas. So yeah, we're gonna code this today and we're gonna try to make it work. I have a work in progress patch here, pull request that you can follow along if you want. You can explore which implement group hover and selection. That's exactly what I'm doing. And the first thing that I did, ignore the arbors and allow selecting hover child elements. But also if an element is already selected, don't go through the whole recursive parent detection again, because I'm checking how, like, I'm gonna show you in the code. Like I'm doing a lot of pretty intense things here in the code. I created like a drawable group. Like it's a lot of things. So yeah, it's gonna be nuts. let me go back here, check out group selection. This is my branch. And of course, if you want, you can download the source code, check out the group selection, check out the source code and complete it as well, or submit a patch. Like, it's open source. You can absolutely jump into it and do whatever you want. So let me build this and launch it, and I'm gonna show you what I did so far. Before I show you, let me check some messages. Oh, you guys are prolific writers. I love it. Danny asked, I wonder if there's some grants for free and open source software projects you'd be eligible to. Maybe probably there is. I didn't have time, or actually I don't really want to do it. I already feel bad about the Patreon supporters and the people on LiberaPay or GitHub sponsors, because like I'm taking money from people and I'm coding the bare minimum, or I'm coding like not as I would love to do this full time. So if I apply to a grant and maybe I get the grant, then I need to take a sabbatical from my job and actually do this full time. But I don't know if I feel comfortable about that, because I care a lot about Thunderbird and I'm kind of in charge of the whole Thunderbird project. So if I stop working, things will go to shit. Like, in some cases, not really true, because we have amazing people in our team, but I'm currently in charge of the design for the next version. So probably next year things get a little less crazy at work. I will try something like that, but good suggestion. Drummond says, exporting in SVG is sometimes annoying when we union those paths. What do you mean? Like, after you export, it doesn't reflect reality of those, what you see on the canvas? Gonzalo asks, there will be a shape builder tool in Akira UX. And you absolutely love the graphic user interface. Me too. What do you mean the shape builder? For now, I'm offering just simple shapes. So we just have rectangular and ellipse. Probably I'm gonna add extra things like a star or an hexagon, something like dynamic, that you can decide how many faces, how many vertices or points a star has or an hexagon has, those kind of things, like a donut, those type of, like, not primitives, but kind of primitives. Primitive shape, that's what you're asking, Gonzalo? Yeah, that's something that I will add. If you know a little bit of Vala and Cairo, you can already add those, because Cairo has those primitives already there. So yeah, pretty much anything that Inkscape can do, we can. But because we have an architecture that is way leaner and faster and modern, we don't have, like, we have the freedom to do anything. That's why I'm experimenting with, let's make a layer list that is dynamic and fast. Let's make a selection array that is different. Let's make a snapping interaction points that are better, like things like that, like just that. And also Inkscape, and I always iterate this, and I always want to make sure that everyone is aware of this. Inkscape is a fantastic, outstanding tool, perfect for SVG. Like, if you need to do an extremely precise SVG icon, Inkscape is your tool. If, though, you need to make a website or a mobile interface or anything that is like UX related, that is not just the precise SVG icon, Inkscape, it doesn't fit the need. Like, it's like the overall approach, user interface and user experience of Inkscape, they don't fit that. So with Akira, I'm not trying to replace Inkscape, because I will never be able to do it. Inkscape is too powerful to be replaced. I want to create something that can go along with Inkscape. So you can create an icon in Inkscape, import it in Akira, open it up, and add it to your very, very large user experience UX design thing. That's what I'm trying to do. Ooh, good, good, good. I want more chocolate. Should I get more chocolate? Gonzalo, I wish I had the knowledge to contribute in the development of this amazing project. Gonzalo, it takes time, but anybody can do it. So you can definitely do it if you want. Draman says, in Figma, sometimes when I union multiple shapes, I'm expecting to have single path in the SVG code, but there are multiple paths, which is annoying when it comes to use CSS to style them. Yes. Sorry, chocolate time. Yes, because in Figma, the Boolean operations are not destructive, which is actually pretty cool. If you want to do that, you need to right click and tell to the shape to collapse. If you tell the shape to collapse, all those Boolean operations will be destructive and it will be only a single path. But by default, it doesn't make it destructive. So you can access those single shapes that you merged or you excluded or extruded, whatever type of Boolean operation you did, and you can still move them around, which is kind of similar but different from Inkscape. So a lot of users are kind of like confused at first. It's a good feature, but it's not super intuitive at first. So I feel your pain. For now, our Boolean operation will be kind of destructive, maybe. I'm still not sure. I didn't get there yet. But anyway, let me show you what we got. So let's do the same scenario as before. We got a bunch of elements. We got an artboard. I'm gonna put some elements inside the artboards, and you can see like whenever I create some elements inside the artboard are already like indented inside the artboard. The artboard is basically a glorified group. A group is a sort of like a very simple artboard. So yeah. So we have these shapes. I'm gonna select this, Control G, and it's gonna create the group, and it creates the group in place where it is, just it doesn't put it on top of the whole thing. And now, because I coded what I needed to code, now the group are selectable. Of course, it doesn't select if you click on the empty, there's no element. But if you go on rollover on an item that belongs to a group, automatically hovers the group. I need to still do the CSS here styling when the group is hovered. But also if I press now Control, now I'm holding Control, look what happens. When you hold Control, it ignores the grouping and ignores the parent and only selects the single child element. So you can ignore the group. You can ignore the restraints of the group, but if you want to select and move the entire group, great. But if you want to select only one, you can hold Control, click one and move it. Still part of the group, and until you deselect it, you can also interact with the items of the group, because I'm simulating the fact that the group is currently open, because you can interact with the items inside the group. And if you have an item selected inside that group, we shouldn't click and go back to the group, but still be inside the open group. So you can do this, and then when you select outside, it just reselect the entire group. Artboards are completely ignored. We can create a group inside an artboard. It's kind of weird. The UI needs to, like, you can see how the layers are not capable of handling these. Like this ellipse is inside an artboard and it's indented properly, but this group should include these, but the artboard is up there. It's a bit of a mess, but the selection actually works, which is important. That's the important thing. And also, yeah, there's an issue here because the selection happens also on an empty area inside the artboard. So there's a lot going on that we need to fix. The first thing that I want to fix is if I hover on a group, the group should have the same effect of the layer. So if I hover on a layer, we have the little rectangle, and we can make it the same effect. So this is the first thing that I want to do. And actually, the last time I coded Akira, it's been a while, so kind of forgot. I need to check. So we are in the layouts, we are in the layers list for sure, and the layers list box, I think. Scrollable layers, layer list box. We use the virtualizing list box here. And if I search for group, layers or function, no, this group is group. If it's group, ancestor, what is this? Virtualizing view canvas, section, factory mode. No, I don't think it's this. I think I need the layers list, layer list item. There you go. The single layer row. Yeah, this is the list box. So is the actual virtualization of the list box. So what handles how many layers, the store, how it's generated, how everything works. But the layer list item is the actual piece of the UI because it's the piece of the UI. We have GTK grid and tree label, so all standard things. So this is the UI. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, many more messages. Yeah, Drama, your message is being delivered. Can we select multiple items using control shifts on groups? Yes, absolutely. You can use control. So actually, let me show you. Group or not group, doesn't really matter. So we have a bunch of items here. So if I click on one item or another, just deselect. If I hold control, it control, it's on the layer. If I hold shift, it adds to the selection. If I click on, hold shift again and click on something that it's part of selection, it removes it. So I'm adding, I'm removing, things like that. And on the layers, if I hold shift, it selects all in between. So I'm holding shift, I click on the rectangle tree, it's gonna select all of those together from top to bottom. But if I click control, only selects a single one. So multi-selection is pretty much done and it behaves pretty much as expected. There are some things that I want to implement when you have in the options. I want to give the ability to show hints or like show suggestions. Basically, when you have an element selected, I don't know if I have it in here in the code or I have a screenshot somewhere. But when you have something, no, I don't have it in the code. I think I have it in the old code. So I want to show like a little pop-up dial, not a pop-up, like a toast little inline, very thin notification that depending on which item you have or which tool you currently have selected, tells you some hints like press control to multiple selection, press shift to multiple select, or if you enter, like you create a shape like a rectangle. Now we are in the rectangle creation tool. The creation tool should tell you that if you press hold control, it scales and maintains the ratio. If you hit control and shift, it scales from the center, or just shift scales from the center, control shift the scales and maintain the ratio from the center. So all these little things that are not discoverable unless you start holding modifiers randomly and you don't know how they behave, interact, but it would be nice to have those hints that then you can disable after you get acquainted and you get familiar with the interface. Oh, another thing, if you notice, like the transform panel is disabled right now because we haven't hooked it on the other way. So right now when you select something, the items, layers, and sizing and things, it's all correct, like it reflects reality, but it doesn't do it the other way around because we didn't hook, like if you want to edit the X value or the Y value, it doesn't affect the shape yet because it's a two-way binding that it's a little bit complicated. So I need to fix it. But what works are the alignment. And we also have shortcuts. Look at this. I'm so happy I did this alignment. So if I select multiple things, look what we have. We got align to the left, align to the center, align to the right, and it's all Alt 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, and 6. So I can align all these things to the bottom, or all these things vertically, or vertical. Look at this. I'm so, this is just so, it's so funny. I actually like it. And if you have, for example, I used to... Oh yeah, another thing that I implemented, I'm so stoked. So basically, if you click now align center, it will grab whatever, like the median horizontal, and align it to center. But if you want, for example, align to the center, if you have these that is slightly shifted to the left, right? It's not really center, but you want to align to the center relative to these, you can press Control, you can press Alt and click on an item, and now you can see you created an anchor point. You can Alt click again to remove it. Now this anchor point is what represents, this is the anchor for all these alignments. So if I say align to the center, all these things will be aligned to the center based on the anchor point. If I say the anchor point is now this and align to the center vertically aligned in the middle, we use that anchor point as middle alignment. And of course, if you deselect it, disappear. It's so cool. I love it. Like how to dynamically activate or deactivate an anchor point. I will implement in the future the ability to anchor it to a corner. So you can anchor it to the center or to the edge, corner, to the top, and things like that. So useful. Yeah, it's amazing, especially when you do like multiple UI design and you need to align things all the way to not the left, but all attached to one specific items, all aligned to the center to one specific items is just a nightmare. So you just add the anchor point, align it there, boom. That anchored item doesn't move and everything goes there. So yeah. Hey, Techie Press, hello, thank you. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, Draman, it's such a cool feature. So handy. I'm so happy. But yeah, what I was saying, we need to... Oh, it crashed. Yeah, there are things, man. What is that? Akira utils array, insert array at IRA assertion failed. Array.vala number 46. Good. Array.vala line 46. What do we have? Assert false. If position insert array at insert an array integers within another array, a pause. So when we were creating a group, we didn't have that. Is that because I selected? I shouldn't. Oh, in the model it's called. Yeah, this happens when I transfer. Oh, the transfer method. Ah, shit, the transfer method is borked. Okay, so let me try to simulate this crash again. If I can reproduce this crash consistently, that's a good thing, because at least we know. Oh, we also have, surprise, surprise, some initial text. I told you I've been working on this for a long time. Even if I didn't have any actual updates or any release, these things just jump leaps and boundaries. Like if I manage to finish these grouping selections, I re-implement the export. It's just disabled for now. I need to re-enable it and it should work, finger crossed. And I re-enable the save and loading files. I'm gonna release it, and this is basically beta. It's just, there's no text editing for now. This is gonna happen during the beta cycle, but yeah. So if I do this, if I select multiple things, Control G, oh yeah, it crashes. Okay, so the transfer method crashes. Let me put a note in here. Okay, consistency. Pull request, implementation. Let me ping. Hey Abhishek, how you doing? Good to see you. Is this a seg fault? Bug report. No work, one item, assertion failed. Method fails the assertion if the selected items to add to a group are not one after another, aka different indexes. Any clue? Okay, not gonna tackle that because that's fairly complicated. I don't have the brain. Seeing you impressed with your own project's behavior is great. Yes. I love open source, man. I don't care. Honestly, like I want Akira to be a good project for a lot of people, like to be a good tool that people can use. But honestly, like coding this is just a pleasure and it's just so nice. It's just so nice. That's it. I just love it. So, okay, what I'm going to do, over effect on this thing when we hover on the group. So the group layer should get an over effect. Okay, let's do that. We were in the layers list. So in the construction, flat button toggle, okay, we create, I'm gonna go slightly faster because, okay, build group UI. This is data group, remove class, remove add class group. Okay, perfect. Clear, build layer UI, group, edit, update label, show entry, edit, toggle lock, update button lock, toggle view, on toggle pressed, update button, collapsed, hover. Hover. Hey. Yeah. So this is, I think it comes from the virtualizing list box row. I think this handles the hover effect. No, how is the over effect handled? I don't remember anymore. Is via CSS? Maybe it's via CSS. CSS layer entry hover. Yeah, the hover effect box shadow inset. Not selected. Okay, layer group is group. So if I, just to confirm, if I comment this out and I compile it, now the over effect shouldn't work anywhere. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, so the fact that it doesn't work on the groups is a CSS issue, I guess. Because is build group UI, I need this. Build group UI, we removed the layer class and we add the group class. There you go, there's the issue. We got just the layer selected. And then we got our board entry, our board over, inset. Okay, we can do we need a separate, yeah, let's do group. Let's do group, it's fine. Group. Or is that an artboard? Groups, hover, not selected. I think this should be fine. If this is the fix, easiest fix in the world. Boom, boom, bam. We got back the over. If we select this 3, we generate the group. Boom, there you go. We got the over, but also here, and this is selected. Boom, bam. We need to do this. Okay, layer group selected. We need to layer label, layer entry, layer. So question, why are we removing the layer class? If it's basically, it's kind of an ARP, not really, it's not an artboard, it's different. So yeah, we need the group class. Do we have already a group CSS somewhere? We got a layout, group title. No, it doesn't matter. No, it's all okay. It just missed all the CSS, all the fun. Okay, so group selected should be identical as well. And here I could potentially have like a root class, like row, and then the layers and groups should have their own variation. But maybe because this virtual CSS name is row, so yeah, I could potentially call it row. If I do this, if I do, instead of specifying a class, I just do row selected and row hover. Yeah, row over action button. Yeah, see, I'm already using this. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to use the unique class. This is for the layer label, layer entry, layer transition, actually transition box. But let's see, do we have the same artboard transition? Okay, artboard transition is different. Artboard label is different. The hover, is it identical? Yeah, it's identical. So also the artboard, I think we can remove it. And oops, I want to comment this out just to make sure. Actions, buttons, row over action button 05, row over action buttons active, but the artboard has a different thing. So actions are different. Artboard, it's selected. Selected is identical. Yeah, is identical. So also the artboard, we can potentially remove this, but also the layer, we can do row, and then here to override we're going to do row artboard. This should be good. Man, GTK CSS is so handy, so useful. Oh, I had a total, so right now there are only like 6 people watching, which is great, thank you so much, but I had a total of 110 views. So at one point, 110 people checked this video, which is great for a partially finished and almost unknown. Okay, yeah, everything works as expected. And if I create the group for these two group, boom, select it. Boom, there you go. We fix it. We fix it. Amazing. Okay, so first thing, entry background base color. We can delete these extra things because we don't need it. I'm so excited. Oh, Jackie Press. Why it's almost 7 in the morning for you? Why so early? What are you doing? It's insane. Also, you can see, you can recognize the people that have been following me for many, many years because they know the usual questions that I asked. Like, what time is it right now for you? I'm curious about that. Entry is the same, maybe. Layer entry, background color, base color. Artboard entry, background color, base color. Yeah, it's exactly the same as well. Oh my God, we can remove a lot of stuff. So we can do row entry, oops, row label, row selected, actions, row, button toggle, grid motion, and row artboard label. We can create some variation for the artboard. There you go. This should be better. We cleaned up a bunch of stuff that we don't actually need, which is good. Okay. Yes. Yes. Oh, no. Actually, yeah, the group needs to be like that. Yeah, this is correct. Only the arbor should have the extra color. The group should be just another group. And actually, I need a little icon for the group. I don't know, maybe a folder I'll put. I don't know if it's really necessary because maybe not. Maybe a group shouldn't have anything, so it's more distinguishable. It just has the drop down and it's visually different. But also, let's interface, don't follow the system theme and do it light. Let's see if it makes sense visually. Yeah, I think it visually makes sense also in light mode. I just destroyed your your eyes, right? If you're watching and it's nighttime, follow the system themes. Okay, cool. Also, by the way, the snaps or the snapping guides and the pixel grid, you can change the color, you can change the threshold, the sensitivity. So yeah, you can control everything. Oh, this is great. Okay, great improvement. Git status, git add, git commit to improve hover effect of all layer types. Git push. Do I have the upstream already? Yeah, I have the upstream, of course. Nice, nice, nice. All right, we fixed that. Now we should fix actually the selection array. Oh, Jason Brower just donated $20? What? Why? Thank you. Oh God. Oh, oh my God. Thanks so much. Oh, this is shocking. Jason, thank you. You can ask whatever you want if you wanna. It's amazing. Draman, are you considering color accessibility on dark light mode? Not for now. Like as you notice, probably there's no git push ninja. There's not much color contrast between these elements, right? It's kind of like a subtle color-ish stuff like that. I'm not, for now, I'm not focusing on that, but I'm gonna be using, because right now I'm using like custom variation of opacity and all this kind of stuff. But once this is finished, I'm gonna do a round of user interface polish and accessibility polish to make sure that the color contrast is pristine. Also, I want to add in the interface settings a high color mode, like a high contrast mode for people that want high contrast. So it's going to be just very like black and white, extremely obvious and stuff like that. But yeah, for now I'm being a bit subtle, which is not the best. I agree. Actually, let me check the difference with the other stuff. Git checkout main. It's always better to see the difference without the patch. So if I have the artboard, so the artboard looks pretty much identical. If I switch and remove the dark mode variation, it was always like that. So yeah, I need to definitely improve color contrast and color accessibility, but it's something for later. Right now, selections doesn't work very well, so I need to focus on that. It's gonna be a very long time before like a huge chunk of users will start actually using it day to day and start complaining about my lack of accessibility and things like that. Git checkout. Group selection, compile again. Okay. I love, like, Vala is so stupid fast. It compiles so quickly. It's amazing. Jason writes, best of luck on your development. Greetings from Oulu, Finland. Oh, hello. I know you have been at this for some time now, and it's great to see the progress. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jason Brower. So good to see you. And thank you so much for the donation. Spectacular. It's just I don't know what to say. This is amazing. Thank you. All right, so what are we doing here? It's almost an hour of being on this live streaming already. So the selection, we need to fix the selection. So I don't remember what I did on these file changes. Some people on Twitter complains about accessibility a lot. I wonder who those people are. maybe some strange Italian people with a Mozilla hat. Yeah, probably those people. You can't trust those people. Never trust those people that complain about things and then don't actually do it properly. But okay, we got the selection manager, if I'm not wrong. Item is sibling. There are a couple of things that I want to ensure that I'm not messing up. I'm gonna grab another piece of chocolate. Hey, Vito. Are you Italian, Vito? Vito Mediotti. Sounds very, very Italian. Or you're South American. I don't know. Vito, yes. Is it? There you go. The system. Yeah, elementary OS. This is my main machine, my main computer. I just only use that. I also have, actually, let me switch super quickly. I also have my System 76 laptop. This is like 7 years old, 2015, it's still a beast. It's an i7 processor. Elementary OS 7. In here, I have Elementary OS Daily. I have a Windows laptop and a MacBook just for testing and working on Mozilla stuff. But yeah, Elementary OS is absolutely my one and only. It's the best operating system. It's the best user experience on Linux ever. So I wouldn't change it for anything. I tried a million different things, but Vito South America, nice, yeah. Okay. We need to fix a couple of things. So let's try to identify. Thank you, Vito. I love it too. Let's try to identify some quirk stuff, because we have some quirk stuff other than the bug that makes it crashes. We saw everything. So first of all, we got two issues here that we confirmed, that if we have a group inside an artboard, the group is selectable from their empty space, and it shouldn't. It should behave exactly like group outside, that if you click on the center, there's nothing, because you might have something underneath, like if we put these on top. By the way, reordering works perfectly. It's amazing, actually. Oh, yeah, I see something. Yeah, well, let's ignore the layer ordering. That's busted. I know I will need to fix it. Just sorting things in GTK is just so fucking annoying. But if you have a group on top of another item, you should be able to hover that item underneath and select it, unless you go on top of those items, right? Like this type of threshold thing that we want to have. I want to be able to or select the group or select the item. If the group is also selected on the empty area, that becomes a problem. That becomes like a usability problem. I think it's something like Inkscape. It's awful at that. When you have multiple groups and multiple layers on top of each other, like selecting the correct one is just insane. So first we need to fix that. So let's write it in the pull request as to do. So I have a list of things that I will need to tackle. Groups inside our board are selectable via click on an empty area. They should not. They should not. Then the other issue that we have, if for example we have this group, I want to be able to control click on an item and select it, even if the group is selected. I don't want to relegate these exclusively on if a group is deselected, control click, I can select an item. Also, another thing, double click should kind of like open the group and allows me to select the first item that I double click. So let's do also this. Double clicking an item inside a group should open group and select the double clicked item. Okay. Then what else? What else we can improve in this? Okay, control click. Control plus click on a selected on an item inside a selected group should select the item. I think that's pretty much it. I think these are all the usability improvements that we need to have in these groups. Like the ordering of the layers is just messed up. We need to fix it. Hey, the groups have been sorted. Like it's just the group is not indented. The group should be inside here and indented on a second level, but something we think we can fix later. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, double click should open it. Yeah, I think that's it. Are we missing something? I think it's good, right? Pretty much all the usability improvements that we can have. Okay, yeah, we got this. In order to identify that files changed, I think we are in not the selection management, I think in the view canvas. This is also a cleanup that I need to do, because right now we are, all our selection is handled on the click action on the canvas. But we have a selection manager, and all our selection calculations should happen in the selection manager, not in the canvas. Otherwise, it's a bit of a shit show, right? Yeah. If I'm not wrong, it's there. Path edit, selection manager, items manager, sorted tree, collect or control, select the nodes, sorted by their position. Yeah, this is for the transfer. Okay, model type good, compile geometry. Transfer mode, no, it's just Alt is pressed if its modifier is pressed. Child. Okay, let's access the view canvas. Let's see view canvas. Let's see the shit show that is up. I'm gonna just reduce the font size a little bit, otherwise it becomes insane to navigate this file. On toggle presentation, visible bounds, star, set cursor by interaction mode. Key press event, not key press. Yeah, create group from selection. Now we can show something. Key release, button press event. We're getting closer. Handle selection, press event. Check if selection exists and transfer it properly. Return true if the event should be absorbed. Okay, node. There you go. Handle selection. This potentially could be moved into the selection manager. But here we are basically we're checking for any heat test on knobs, so rotation and things like that. If the knob clicked is none, it means the selection didn't happen on a knob, and we need to find an item if we have it. If we find a target, we need to start doing our calculation. Is the target already selected? Control is pressed. Okay, let's do something. Is the selection empty, or is a sibling of a current group. Let's do another selection type of thing. So we have all these calculation that it's doing something. Okay. Okay, let's check here. Okay, if the selection manager, if the item is not selected and control is not pressed, we do something. So we need the other thing. If the item is not selected, okay, otherwise if shift is pressed, remove from selection. Okay. Okay, so here we need a check. Okay, this is where it happens, right? This is where it happens. These we're checking if the item is not selected, and the target is never the group. Like, it doesn't matter how many layers we have, how many groups we have, how many artboards we have. The click target, it's always whatever it's right underneath the cursor. So it doesn't matter. We always, if the layer is indented 20 times inside 20 groups, we always get that thing. So we need to recursively go back to the parent to find if it's inside a group or whatever. So this is what we do. Like if the selection manager, if the item is not selected and control is not pressed, we need to check if the target as a parent, the recursive get parent target basically checks if the target is inside a group, and if it's inside a group, we select that group. And we continue going up, 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 up because control is not pressed. But else, if or we had it here. Okay, check if the click item is not already selected. Here we can do if shit is not pressed, reset selection. Okay, so what the fuck is happening here? Okay, so we are in a situation that the item is selected, but also control is pressed, so this shouldn't run. Okay, let's do a print. Let's print stuff. Not selected and not control. Let's do this. Then not selected. And here, selected. Hit shift. Else if target is null. If target is null, we don't care. Otherwise, we got this print. Something else. Okay, let's give it a try. Yeah, the old print. Do you guys love me struggling? Yes, like to see me struggle? Okay, where is my terminal? Give me my terminal. Okay, we got linking targets and Akira here. Okay, let's check these output here. So not selected and not control, not selected and something. Okay, if I select all of these and I control G, great. If I select, boom, we are not selected and not control, not selected or something. If I press control, not selected and something. So not selected. Wow, this is driving me crazy. Wait, just a second. New line. New line. New line. This is something is silly because it's always run. Okay. Perfect. Better. Let's do this. All right. Boom, bam, boom, bam, bam. Group. Perfect. Not selected and not control. Not selected. So we run first, we run not selected and not control. We run this and then we run not selected. So we added to selection. And now in this situation, this is what I care about. If I press control and I click again, nothing happens. Yeah, because it's already selected. Right? Else should be already selected. Already selected. Okay. This is what we need to identify. This thing. Pum, 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 pum. These three. Group. Bam, not selected, not in control, already selected. Okay, so this is what we are doing here, but maybe this, because here if selection manager's target ID and control is pressed, what's the target? Target, it's part of that. Else, if control is pressed, we can reset selection and add to selection, right? We can do something like this, maybe. Hey, we did it. Huh? Group, boom. We did it. Cool. Okay. Let's write a little comment. If we already have a selection but control is pressed, we should reset the selection and allow selecting the child, the targeted element, aka we ignore group selection. Makes sense, right? Okay. Whew. Hey, 10 people watching and no one is commenting. What's happening right now? Pum 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 pum. G pim 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 pim. Okay, if I do this, if I do directly this, perfect. If I do this, control selects this, perfect. If I do this, control select this, Perfect, perfect. What happens if I do the same inside an artboard? Maybe I messed up with the artboard stuff. Probably. I always messed up the artboard stuff. Artboards are such a unique thing. So, like a glorified... Okay. Hey, look at this. Yeah. Also inside an artboard works. Oh my god, yeah. Yo, JP, what's up? Everyone's watching. Yeah, it works also in the artboard. Amazing. Okay. Git status, git commit, allow selecting child of a selected group if control is pressed. Git push. Okay, we fixed another thing. Did we have this in the list? I don't, maybe we didn't. Yeah, it is. Okay, so the group should select the item. Pound. Go back up. Move it up. Nice. Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna stop for today. This is a lot. It's getting late. My brain is getting fuzzy, but we did great progress today. Probably next week I'm gonna do another live streaming and I'm gonna try to finish this before next week, and then we can tackle one of the other million things like enable linear radial gradients, or actually we should watch the beta list. There are some nice zooming, like these are few little things, and then the canvas is completed for beta. Copy paste shape properties, implement the line shape is almost there, and then yeah, file format is all, that's all. Like all these other stuff are a lot, but yeah, we're getting there. We're doing great progress, ready for beta. 20 out of 46 tasks ready for beta. We're getting there, but yeah, so this was very fun. I always love coding Akira and explaining and talking a lot. So yeah, thank you all for watching. As usual, if you want to support, you go to the GitHub page. You can check all the support stuff. Share it on Twitter. Spread the word. Try to use it if you want. Try to learn Vala. Contribute to it. Everyone is welcome. And yeah. Thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic rest of the day or night. Good night, good morning. Have a great, fantastic rest of the evening, afternoon, and whatever. And yeah, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up to this video. Share this video and let everybody know. Man, I'm so tired. I'm gonna go to sleep. Okay, thank you all. Bye-bye.